Well, hi there. Good to see you right here on Health Diary. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and I hope you're having yourselves an amazing Sunday. Today, we'll be focusing on exclusive breastfeeding for multiples or twins, if you like, because there has been a lot of conversations about how important it is to exclusively breastfeed babies for the first 6 months of their lives. However, there's so many challenges, including poor health systems, weak policies, and also massive advertisement as far as formulas are concerned. So the big question is, how do we change this narrative and help as many women out there exclusively breastfeed their babies for the first 6 months of their lives? Well, that is what we'll be focusing on the show. And just a reminder that we're coming to you from Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital. We'll find all this after this fact of the matter. Breastfeeding is one of the most powerful investments a country can make in the health, development, and survival of its children. In Kenya, only 61% of infants are exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months, below the global target of 70% by 2030. By prioritizing breastfeeding across policies, programs, and public awareness, Kenya can reduce child morbidity and mortality, enhance maternal health, strengthen environmental sustainability, and contribute to national development. All right, let's talk about breastfeeding today and the fact that from 1st to 7th is breastfeeding, awareness week. The reason why I'm holding a baby today is because we have a twin mom on set today. So one of the other babies is somewhere around, okay? This is not like a real baby, but we'll call him Victor today, right, on the show. And we'll focus on breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding, and especially when it comes to multiples. How do you do that? But at the same time, also focus on returning to work for moms. How does that look like? What are some of the preparations that they need to put in place? And also the workplace, how do they accommodate moms who are exclusively breastfeeding their babies? So to help us with the conversation, we have Laura Kiige, who's a nutrition specialist from UNICEF Kenya. Good to have you. Thank you so much for making the time. You have baby number 2.
Thank you.
With you. She's a girl. What do we call her?
Victoria.
Victoria. So we have Victor and Victoria on set today. Fantastic. And we also have Teresia Karimi, who is a twin mom, to help us with the conversation today. But she also has 2 other kids. So mama 4. But the twins are 3 months old. Yeah. Congratulations, first of all. How is it? How is it going?
Okay. Not bad so far.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about your journey as far as breastfeeding them and what you're doing. Are you exclusively breastfeeding them, or do you have instances where you have to, use other alternatives like formula? But before that, Laura, when we talk about breastfeeding, we've talked about this conversation for a very long time. But still, there's so many things that are missed, and especially when we focus on exclusive breastfeeding. So do you want to just take us through, first of all, what does that look like? Why is it important, for the kids to be exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of their lives?
So when you talk about exclusive breastfeeding for the children, what we are looking at is that this child from birth to 6 months of age should be fed on nothing else but breast milk. Okay. So breast milk becomes the prime food for this child with nothing added to that. The reason for this is because it provides all that the baby requires for this duration, the 6 months. And beyond that, it also gives the immunity that the child will require. Just to note that there is a way God created breastfeeding in a very mysterious way. Okay. The first few days of breastfeeding, the baby sucks what they call the colostrum, which has a very high immunological factors, which gives the baby like the first immunization against the common diseases where the baby is and where the mother has lived. So that also protects the baby. As the baby continues to grow in the next, as the baby ages, the composition of the breast milk changes even as the baby grows. There's no other food that you can give the baby that will change between month 1, month 2, month 3, because whatever it is, it doesn't give that. But even for the mother, it also has a number of benefits. Okay. Immediate breastfeeding after delivery, then this mother has a chance to benefit from the same hormone that leads to the production of the breast milk also helps to contract the uterus for the mother. So the uterus contracts much easier.
Okay.
And then the mother is able to regain her shape within a shorter duration of time.
Okay.
So it has benefits for the baby, it has benefits for the mothers. And we say it's one of the reasons, one of the ways to also reduce the prevalence of breast cancers. So the more you breastfeed your baby, then the chances of breast cancer then goes lower for that mother.
Yeah.
So it has benefits both for the baby. I've not talked about even the bonding that happens between the baby and the mother.
Yeah.
It's a very important for early childhood development. So when the mother breastfeeds the baby gets to know the mother. They have a loving, comforting, caring environment that this baby will benefit from, unlike a baby who is not breastfed. So that exclusive breastfeeding is very critical for the development of the population.
I see.
Yeah.
We're also focusing on the multiples, aspect of it and what that looks like. There's always the fear that I do not have enough milk, for my baby, which both of you will help us with. But there's something that I've seen a lot of women do, and that is squeeze out. You know what you're talking about? Colostrum. Most will squeeze out and say, "He seems zuri," for the baby and whatnot. What do you say to that for the women who squeeze it out?
Yeah, I think the reason is why they would think that it's not good is because they don't know what it is. There's an assumption that milk ought to be white. Not all milk is white. It actually the color changes as the breastfeeding advances. So a newborn baby, the color could look like nearly milky, clear, almost clear white in a few cases, and sometimes looking a little yellowish and all that. But I think that the colostrum, that the milk that comes out the first few days is very critical to building the immunity of the baby. So I would recommend that every mother, whether having one baby or multiple children, should take advantage of that and feed the baby with that, because it's very important. It also helps to clear the digestive system of the baby, removing out the first dark stool. We call it the meconium, that the baby from the digestive system, so which helps clean up the digestive system of the baby. It's a very important part of the breastfeeding.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, don't squeeze it out. Okay, so Teresia, 3 months. How are they doing? You said it's a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Very beautiful names as well.
Yeah.
But you also have other babies. So can we talk a little bit about, your older children and, your twins now in terms of breastfeeding, just to do a comparison of how it was then versus how it is now with multiples?
Well, I'm a mother of 4. The first one is 9 years old, and the second born is 4 years old. For the first one, when I got pregnant, when we were in hospital, because I was a first-time mother, I was so eager to know what is expected of me. And I really took it very seriously when we were told you're supposed to breastfeed your kid for the next 6 months without giving anything, because breast milk, it's all a baby needs. So since I was taught that, I did it for the first child. I exclusively breastfed and I managed it. It was easy.
Did you have enough supply of milk? Most
of course,
like,
I had enough milk.
Okay.
And I breastfed for 3 months, and I went back to work. And I didn't have any issue, because I would express in the morning, I would express in the evening, and then that one the baby would consume the following too, so I didn't have any issue. I did it successfully.
Okay.
And I've seen the fruit. My firstborn child, he has never been admitted to hospital.
Wow.
He has been in good health.
Yeah.
In case maybe of a homa or cough, it doesn't put him down. He's always strong. Then about the second born also, I did the same.
Okay.
I breastfed for 6 months, and she's doing quite well. She has never been admitted to hospital. She's in good health, and that give me the morale to always encourage other people to do it.
Oh, that's really nice.
So then when it comes to the twin,
there's a size like, hey.
Yeah. I didn't know how I'll achieve it. And when I was pregnant, I was told I have twins. Now I started preparing myself psychologically. Oh, so I'll be a mother. These twins, I have to, So I've been preparing myself psychologically even before they were born. So the time I was coming to receive the baby, my mind has already been set that I'll be having twins.
Yes.
And I had purposed also to do the same for the twins like I've done before. though I knew it's challenging, but I said, I'll do my best.
Yeah, because that is two. Because the other one is like one, so you can easily hold
and I
one.
manage. So I was wondering, for these two, what will I really manage? And I'm working. How will it be? I said, anyway, let me try it.
3 months in.
Yeah.
How are they doing? What are some of the things that you would say you've done that you've managed so far to exclusively breastfeed both of them?
So what has assisted me to manage this? It's first ni chakula. I've tried at least my level best to make sure at least I take healthy food.
Okay.
I've been avoiding junk at all costs. I've been trying at least my plate has a little portion of protein, carbohydrate, fruits. So that's what I've been doing. Whatever I can access it in.
Yeah.
That's what I've been using. Yeah, you know, you cannot have it all. You cannot have this and this. Whatever was into my access, that's what I've been using. And it has really helped me. Then something else I've been having, I've been taking a lot of fluids, especially the porridge. I've done porridge. I have a big thermos. Actually, I take porridge a lot. Okay. And then I've also been balancing with, you know, you cannot take porridge alone.
Yes.
Tea,
to balance it.
And water. That's what I've been doing. At least I've been having a schedule where when I woke up in the morning, first thing I usually take 2 glasses of water, warm water.
Okay.
Then after some time I would take porridge. Sometime I would take tea. After some time I would alternate like that, and it has really helped me.
Okay.
So every time I feed, what I've been doing, every time I feed, I usually make sure I take something. Don't just feed and just stay like that.
Okay.
Every time I feed, at least I take a cup of porridge, I take a cup, whichever it is, even warm water, at least so that next time I'll have milk to breastfeed
your babies. That's very interesting because there's always that concern for so many moms that milk supply. And now that we're talking about multiples, okay? And what more would you speak on, especially when it comes to nutrition and breastfeeding and also things to help with milk supply, so that we help as many women out there who are like, maziwa sina.
Thanks. I think when it comes to multiples, part of the things to take care of, as she has noted, is also your diet.
Okay.
Don't forget that it's out of your body that blessed milk is made.
Coming from. Yes.
So if you're producing milk for 2, then you also need to be careful how your diet is. A lot of fluid, as she says, but also making sure that you're also balancing the other foods. You're taking a healthy diet. So you have your proteins, you have your vegetables, very, very important. The fruits are there, the cereals, and a variety of them. But when it comes to diets, what we keep saying is that the more diverse your diet, the better it is.
Okay.
Besides not having it diverse, you should be careful that you are taking a number of meals per day. We say a breastfeeding mother should take at least 3 meals per day and 3 snacks in between. And preferably a 4th meal, because this is a mother who is feeding herself.
Yeah.
And in this case, it is multiple babies plus 2 more babies.
Yep.
So you're feeding 3 people from your own body. So you have to be careful that you're eating well, you're eating the frequencies. It would be very advisable that you take a meal in the morning, take a meal over lunch hour, take a meal in the evening, late evening.
Yeah.
And even before you go to bed, take a meal.
Okay.
In between, have a lot of snacking. I've had her talk about porridge, talk about fruits in between, talk about some fluids that are very, very important. And even snacks, you know. A snack doesn't mean that you cook an extra meal. It just means that you can have a smaller meal in between the previous one. So if you took something over breakfast, then maybe at about 10, can you take whatever was left over from breakfast so that you keep eating, keep feeding yourself so that your body remains healthy for the production of the breast milk.
Yeah.
At the same time, also take a lot of fluids. They are very, very important. Pure water is a fluid by itself. Porridge or whatever dish and such, that would be helpful. So as you have the variety, but also the frequency of the meals. One more thing that you should do is that the production of the milk is so much dependent. It's an issue of demand and supply. The higher the demand for the milk, the higher will be the supply. So you don't breastfeed the babies and the demand becomes lower, then you produce less milk. But if you breastfeed your baby more often and do it right, when I say do it right, I mean that you put your baby on the breast for good enough length of time. It's important for us to note that There are even portions of milk even as you breastfeed the baby. The first milk that comes out whenever you breastfeed the baby is more watery, less heavy in nutrients. As you continue the breastfeed for that baby, there is the more thicker, we call it the head milk, the foremilk and the head milk, which is has more energy for the child. So you need to learn how to breastfeed your baby effectively so that you empty the breast. Because so long as you're emptying the breast, then there is more production.
There'll be more production.
You empty, there's more production. You empty, there's more production.
That's how with multiples. How do you do? And especially if they're hungry at the same time. Okay. Do you want to just help us? I know we need to go on a break, but very quickly in terms of the how, to do that so that both of them get the enough nutrients and they're also full. Yeah. So that you're not rushing to feed the other and then, the other one is crying over here. I'm going to pass Victor, baby Victor, to you. Baby Victor is quite heavy.
Thank you. So when you have twins, you have a few styles that you can use to breastfeed the babies. Of course, this is not the most comfortable seat for that because I would have wanted to have more space, so that I have space to put my hands as expected.
All right.
You can breastfeed the two children, the two babies together, so that one is on one breast, one is on the other breast. What one requires for this is that you require some additional support so as to put the babies to the breast. It's very easy to first put the baby to the breast for the first baby, but now for the second baby, you require someone to hand over the baby to you, and then you put the baby on the breast. So you can either do it with their legs closed as it is, but you also have a few other options. When you have a more comfortable seats and you have pillows and such, you can do what is called the underarm. Underarm, you have one baby under the arm supported by a pillow, and then the other baby also under the other arm supported by a pillow. You can also breastfeed the babies. That is also one way of breastfeeding the babies.
Okay.
Besides that, then you can actually do one at a time, depending on who wakes up first.
Okay.
But when you're breastfeeding one at a time, one thing you have to be careful about is that whenever you are breastfeeding these babies, do not say that this breast belongs to Victor and this one to Victoria. That is not right.
Okay.
Because depending on the pace and the ability to empty the breast, then you find one breast producing much more milk than the other. So once you breastfeed them in this style, the next breastfeeding, you should try and change them so that the other baby now goes to the other breast.
Okay.
In that case, it helps you that the breast produce milk in an equal kind of. Whoever is not emptying the breast as expected, then there is help by the other infant.
Okay.
So in that way, then you balance your breast so that none of them grows bigger because they are producing more breast milk. Because remember, I said it's an issue of demand and supply for this. Yeah, and it's good to know that even for twins, you can also breastfeed them when lying down. Preferably, because we don't want you to spend the whole night seated taking care of these two children, and tomorrow you're going to work. So it's very important for you to learn how to breastfeed when lying, so that you can lie on one side, breastfeed one baby, and turn to the other side and breastfeed the other baby. So that you're also getting a chance to rest in the course of the night, so that you're able to work the following day. So it's important for mothers to learn that. So what is important is getting the skill. It's very important. And you can get this skill. I'm happy she said she got the support from a health facility, which helps you now to know how exactly to go about it without struggle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Wow. Let's take a break, and then when we come back, you're supposed to go back to work in 1.5 weeks?
Yeah, in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, wow, 2 weeks' time. Okay. So then we'll look at that. What are some of the ways that you're preparing to say go back to work? And also for the workplace, is it conducive for you to express and all those things? And also for the support, from workplaces, Laura, which will also help us understand what that looks like, for moms. And so much more, to come on the other side of the break. So do stay with us. The show is Health Diary. Welcome back to the show. Today we're focusing on breastfeeding, multiples of feeding multiples with love, okay? Because we want both babies, to get all the nutrients that they need, and especially for the first 6 months of their life, as we focus on exclusive breastfeeding. And we're coming to you from Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital. That's quite a mouthful, okay? And to help us with the conversation today, we have Laura Kige, who's a nutrition specialist from UNICEF Kenya, and we also have Teresia Karimi, who is a mom, 2 twins, but also has, other kids, a mom of 4. So
before we went on a break, so you're taking us through the different skills, you know, that a mom needs, because majority of the times people think breastfeeding, it's natural. You know, all moms would definitely know how to breastfeed.
Just to know that Kenya has a law, the Health Act 2017, that states that workplaces should provide lactation space for breastfeeding moms. And I'm so glad your organization has such a space.
Yeah.
So what is very important now is for you first to start thinking of how do you store breast milk for use during that time, because you need to now start stocking the milk as early as now, so that you have some store for the milk when you're going back to work. That will mean that you need to keep expressing the breast milk. And one example is what you've said: when you are breastfeeding, you can actually use the other breast to express the breast milk. Even when the children are asleep, it's also an opportunity for you to express the breast milk. I think it's a common practice, and I'm hoping Kenyans have now learned that expressing of the breast milk is very, very important.
Okay.
And everyone, whether you have breast pump or you don't have, it's very important to learn how to do hard expression. Because even when you have a breast pump, sometimes once in a while you find yourself, you didn't carry it and you forgot it and you are at workplace. So what you need to be careful about the expressing of the breast milk is to ensure that you handle the breast as expected. Maybe I can give you the baby, so that now the baby is back. Then you make sure that you handle the breast, hold back the breast to the chest.
Okay.
And then you don't place on the nipple, because that would be painful for you. You try as much as possible to get the space just behind the areola. So you place, release, place, release. When you are doing this, then you need a container that is wide enough, because milk comes like jets. And if you're not careful, then you're likely to lose so much of the milk. So you need a wide container that will hold that will get that milk once you place the milk and release, place, release. A few things that are important for you to have in mind when you're expressing the breast milk is to think positively about the baby. Think about the baby. Think about how nice it will help them. Think about how lovely it is to feed them. Think about how determined you are to ensure that the baby is breastfeeds all the way to 6 months exclusively without anything added. And think about how much you'd want to store. So remember, the same principle applies. The higher the demand, the higher the supply. So in this case now, when you're preparing, you're trying to ensure that you are creating a higher demand, so that you have milk enough for the babies, but also for storage. For use when you go back to work.
Okay.
Then when you go back to work, I'm glad that your space has some space for you to express the breast milk. Be careful that you are doing it from day one. The law states that we should have some flexi arrangement for breastfeeding mothers. In this case, meaning that this mother can be allowed maybe to come a little later, or to leave a little earlier, so that they can go take care of the babies, or come have a little more time over lunch hour when they can express the breast milk. It depends on how you agree with your HR, but that flexi arrangement is very important.
Okay.
And then remember, whatever you express, then you should store it appropriately. You need some containers that are good enough that you can store your breast milk.
Okay.
Such containers should be a container that you can seal up. Please always remember, whenever you store your breast milk, it's supposed to be stored and labeled.
Okay.
You may not be the only mother in that office who is expressing the breast milk. So having sticky notes that are like different colors for different mom. So this is, I express the breast milk, I put it in the container, I label it with my name, for example, if it's my baby, and then the date that you have expressed the breast milk, and how much just helps you to know like how much you have expressed. In a number of cases, then you may have a container that can help you measure how much. We always recommend that you don't have big containers, because if they are big, then storing them in the freezer becomes an issue, because once you express the breast milk and you put it in the container and you have labeled clearly, because the principle is one, fast in, fast out. That's very, very important, so that we don't have milk that stays in the freezer for too long when you're using what you've just recently stored. So in a container, well labeled. So when you get back home, you've put it in a freezer in the office. When you get back home, then you stack them in a freezer. You know, like you have a series of them, date one, whatever dates, very, very clearly labeled. In a way that you can always pick the right one when it comes to feeding the baby.
The babies. Okay.
And then remember, That's very important. So that when at the end of it all, what will happen is that you have stacks and stacks of milk that you can utilize for the baby.
Yeah,
and this milk then will be utilized whenever you are away from the baby.
All right.
And that's why we talk about the family support becomes very important. Because you leave the breast milk for someone to warm it. Remember, we don't warm breast milk directly. We don't put it in a sufuria and heat it up. You will need to get a container that you can warm.
Okay.
You put in the container, you put hot water, and then you put the milk in a smaller container and have it warmed in directly.
Okay.
So that some of the skills that this mother will require, so that whoever is taking care of the child then can feed the baby.
Okay.
Conveniently.
Yeah. So how long can they stay in the fridge? And in the freezer, and I'll take that as your parting shot because we literally have to end the show.
Thanks. For the storage of the milk in the fridge, it should not take more than 24 hours in the fridge.
In the fridge. Okay.
In the freezer, depending on how you package it and what kind of a freezer, because there are freezers that you're using for many other things, so you open it every other day. It could stay for 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
So it can stay for quite a long duration of time. For example, if it's a freezer that is specifically for such that you only open when you require the breast milk, then in that case, it can stay much longer. But if it's a freezer you're opening day in, day out, then I'll be careful that's about 3 months because the temperature changes quite
every
common.
time you open the door.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Laura. I mean, I know there's so many things that we can cover, but we'll continue with this conversation next week on Sunday. And we'll also look at then the community support and the different, facets when it comes to support for exclusive breastfeeding. But for now, allow us to say a special thanks to Laura Kige, who is a nutrition specialist from UNICEF Kenya. And we also had Teresia Karimi, who was here to really share her journey as far as, exclusive breastfeeding her twin babies. All the very best as you go back to work and even as you focus on exclusively breastfeeding the babies. Well, time now for you to take a look at this health tip.
On today's health tip, I talk about the fact that it is possible for a HIV-positive mother to exclusively breastfeed their child for the first 6 months and continue breastfeeding the child for 2 years and beyond, so long as they're also taking care that on their antiretroviral therapy as planned and expected, and they work with the doctor on the same.
Well, that marks the end of our show today on exclusively breastfeeding, and especially for multiples, twins in this case. But we'll also continue with the same conversation next week, and our focus would be on how communities can also pitch in to support women, especially when it comes to exclusively breastfeeding their children. But for now, allow us to say goodbye, and a special thanks to Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital for hosting us today. Until next week, adios. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and we're coming to you from Kenyatta University Teaching and wait, Kenyatta University what and what?